So I was only going to do one video tonight, but I'm going to be out tomorrow, and I watched Terminator 2 today. I don't usually have a chance to watch movies because schedule, working, lots of stuff. Balancing life. Anyways, Terminator 2. I technically have not seen Terminator 1, but I know the gist of it. And the person I was with insisted Terminator 2 was a million times better. So I watched it, and yes, it's amazing. Good lord, those chase sequences. Then I read into it and found out what they had to do, what Robert Patrick and Linda Hamilton did in order to prepare for that film, and good God. Mad respect. I mean, Linda Hamilton and all the military training she had to receive for this film, and Robert Patrick and all the running he had to do, not to mention not look like he was tired or blinking. Incredible performance. I was really interested in the special effects. The storytelling is excellent, and I love the themes. This is not going to be a very coherent review because there's so much awesome to talk about. So, where to begin? Again, if you're watching this, you probably have seen the movie. And apparently it was supposed to be a big twist that, yeah, spoiler alert, but a lot of people know this twist, that Arnold's actually the good guy in this one, since he was the bad guy in the last one. No, I haven't actually seen Terminator 1, but I do know it. It's in pop culture. And it's really, really cool to see the time travel element and how it continues, and how the T-1000 is that much more powerful. He'll never give up. It's utterly terrifying that almost nothing can kill him, and there are so many shootout scenes to hold him back and wear him down. You think, every time you think that this thing is dead, that this thing's destroyed, it's not. It's also fun to see Ahnold learn to be more human. He's the Mr. Spock of this movie. Learning how to adapt to humanity, learning to find his humanity. He was reprogrammed by John Connor in order to be sent to the past, in order to save John Connor, in order to win the human versus android war. That's happening in 10 years. Well, that's good to know. So science fiction may or may not come true. We'll see how much of that's accurate. Hope for humanity. Anyways, I really like the message that if a Terminator can find his humanity, perhaps the rest of us can too. I think the actual message is, if a Terminator can see the value of human life, perhaps we can too. Since it had a big theme of how humanity is really, we're destroying ourselves. And that could easily become so pretentious, and elements of this film I have seen copied so many times by amateurs to the point where I was laughing at some of the more symbolic scenes. Like when Ahnold is taking out the gun and a bunch of roses drop. I thought that seemed like something symbolic that a film school student would have done. I can see people getting caught up in the details. There are a lot of details in this movie. The effects are incredible. There are a lot of shootouts. I guarantee you, I have read 50 lousy scripts that had a scene very similar to the opening. War, fighting, human versus machine. Granted, I can see why people like that. It is amazing to see, and this film has very good themes, very good acting, very good action, very good effects. It's just incredible. I love seeing Arnold's performance. I completely believe him as a giant robot, but he sells it, he's fun, and he is this badass. And the main character, John Connor, he's the kid in this movie. He doesn't have a father. It's not clear who his dad really is. Well, actually, time paradox, I know he has a father, but he has this bonding relationship with Ahnold. I'm just gonna call him Ahnold because that's who he is. He's Ahnold. And I asked my friend during this film, how many kids do you think wished that Ahnold was their dad? He said probably a lot, because I can definitely see a kind of person really getting into this. People who, first of all, having a giant robot to order around to protect you from bullies, or to be a little shit. There's definitely some abusable power in that. But when you see him learn his humanity and how far he's willing to go to protect this family, how capable he really is what this family needs. I don't think they would have survived nearly as long as they did without him. I mean, though Linda Hamilton, though Sarah Connor, she's badass. She's fun to watch. Love watching her pick locks. She was really picking those locks in that film. She learned how to do it. And she's jacked, can handle a gun one-handed. Is so much fun to watch. She has so many intense scenes. I heard that she actually went deaf from a mishap in this movie, since she forgot to put in her earplugs in one take and one of Ahnold's guns went off in her ear. And I heard that Robert Patrick got an injury from this film too. I mean, the sheer amount of physical and mental energy that went into this film is truly impressive to watch. Everything about it holds up really well. I would say its message just gets more and more relevant, especially with these times. And I like the family bonding. The chemistry between the actors is quite good. I find Robert Patrick, of course, terrifying. I really liked seeing the explosions. Nowadays, I am pretty bored with explosions. But this film, since the effects are almost all practical, I think there's very early Photoshop in here. I know they had to do a ton of manipulation for the T-1000. And this is a movie that gets you hyped. I read online that there's a joke around that goes something like this. I saw this on TV Tropes, which I read right afterwards. The joke was something like, there are 2 acceptable times for a man to cry in public. 1 is the birth of his child, and 2 is the ending of Terminator 2. I get that. Just, you know what I mean. Just an overall action-packed, fun, classic film. I'm glad I saw it. I now appreciate it better, even though I was laughing at some of the symbolism, like the roses falling, or or the opening scene, the exposition of the man versus machine war. I've seen, mostly because I was exposed to amateurs copying this before I saw this. But I can see why people would want to copy it. It's a truly innovative film. It's simple but effective. It tells its story very, very well. It's the message about humanity destroying itself could be so cheesy. I know, I'm repeating myself a lot. But it's very effective here because the characters are that strong, because the stakes are so high, because the villain's so good. It's a truly amazing film, an amazing sequel, an amazing experience.